Welcome to Rica Subtest 1 online test preparation course presented by ricatest.com. Now, for assessment for fluency, to begin, it's important to understand and remember that fluency is always assessed through oral reading. This means that if on your Rica test you receive a multiple choice question about fluency assessment and there is a solution that includes anything that's not about oral reading, you can eliminate those choices that might include some writing because fluency is always assessed through oral reading. Remember, the three areas of fluency that a teacher must assess are accuracy, rate, and prosody. Next, we have accuracy. In order to assess a student's reading accuracy, the teacher will use what's called miscue analysis, which is the process of examining a student's oral reading to identify and categorize reading errors. Note here that the paper used, the tool used to conduct the reading test, is called a running record. You're probably familiar with it, and it's the process of assessment called miscue analysis. Simply put, the student reads a story while the teacher listens and pays particularly close attention to reading errors, especially of patterns. Next, let's focus on reading rate. Assessing rate means giving a time test. Here, the teacher will need to use a timer, so have a watch, a phone, or a clock nearby. The teacher provides the student with a passage of, say, 200 or 300 words, depending on age and independent reading level. Notice here that this text passage is longer than the other assessments use. Can you think why that would be the case of measure for students' reading rate? Well, it's because the objective isn't for the student to complete the text, but to measure how many words in a minute the student can read. Once the student is ready, they can begin. At this time, the teacher records omitted, substituted, inserted, and other reading errors. Once the 1 minute is complete, the teacher subtracts the total number of errors from the total number of words read to find the student's word count per minute. Next, let's learn how to assess a student's prosody. The difficulty here is that prosody, which is expression, is a subjective matter. For this reason, an assessment of prosody is done informally. And here's how it's done. The teacher listens as the student reads aloud. The teacher is listening for pitch, response to punctuation, and characterization, meaning reading the story with dialogue if there is some, for example. Let's review the three types of assessments. The first one is entry level, second is progress monitoring, and the third are our summative assessments. Remember that entry level assessments are given at the beginning of a lesson or unit to understand our students' background information, what they know about a topic prior to us teaching it. And our progress monitoring assessments are given in the middle of a lesson or unit, and these are typically more informal in nature. They help the teacher check for current understanding from the students. And lastly, summative assessments are given at the end of a lesson or a unit, and they assess whether a student does not yet meet the standard, or does meet the standard, or exceeds the expectations of that particular standard. Furthermore, both entry level and summative assessments should be done using written assessments, while the progress monitoring assessment is done orally. Feeling nervous about taking your Rica test? Click the link in the description below, get full access to this Rica test prep course, and start feeling prepared for test day.